Hey, Broker Nation, I'm Jamie Cavanaugh with Amerifund Home Loans. I'm a mortgage broker here in Southern California. I've been an AIME member since 2018, and this is Broker Playbook. Today, I'm going to talk about how to financially prepare for 2021 and beyond. Whether you're a broker owner, an established loan officer, or even newer to the business, I hope these tips and tricks will be helpful to you. So let's get right into it. As a broker owner, you have more than just yourself to consider. Most likely you've got at least one other loan officer and probably some support staff like loan officer assistants and processing staff. The most important thing that you can do for your business is to set goals and be as detailed as possible when you do so. We use a waterfall method, and I always start with our annual volume goals for the year. And from there, we set the goal and drill down further. I start with what the average loan officer typically produces, and then how many loan officers we have versus how many loan officers we would actually need to achieve the volume goal that we've set for ourselves for that year. Then I look at support staff. How many assistants and processing staff do I have now? What is their typical capacity for closings? And how many more will we need to support the production goals that we've just set for ourselves for the year? This tells me a lot. Number one, recruiting and hiring. This should give me a general idea of what my existing team is capable of, what their average production looks like, and how I need to proactively recruit and hire. Bear in mind, if you're doing this exercise, you're going to have to put the cart before the horse a little bit if your volume goals are good for the year and higher than what you did in prior years. So you're going to have to get a little bit ahead of your volume and put forth some funds to hire your support staff in order to get everybody trained, up to speed, and producing. Second, as a business owner, you've got to know your overhead. If you don't already, I would highly recommend that you sit down and figure out what your true cost per loan is. This was one of the best exercises that we've ever done. Look at your total commissions. Look at your support staff bonuses. Look at your salaries. Look at your office space rent. Look at your equipment leases, like your copy machines, your internet, every single thing that goes into running your business. Add it all up. Average that cost over the number of loans that you are typically closing in a calendar month. That is your cost per loan. Now, obviously, as you close more loans, your cost per loan will go down. But for now, this is at least a barometer for you to have some idea of what your cost per loan is. And that tells you where you can adjust your compensation levels with lenders. It tells you how much flexibility you have on a per loan basis. And it also tells you how tight you are on things and where you have room for growth. Next is reserves. As a business owner, I would highly recommend that you always have 12 months of total operating expenses set aside. This is everything it takes to run your business. This gives you enough runway to withstand just about any changes in our market and just about any changes in general to hire ahead of the need. Investing. It's super tempting during these financial times when we've all come off of a pretty phenomenal year to invest in anything and everything, Bitcoin, stocks, and rental properties. And I'm not telling you not to do those things, but if you have a passion for your business and you believe in yourself, I believe that you are your best investment. And I believe that you should invest in your business first. This starts with knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. So at the end of last year, my partner and I pulled all of our trusted employees, those that have worked for us anywhere from 5 to 20 years, into a conference room. We checked our egos at the door and we said, help us identify our strengths and weaknesses. We had a whiteboard. We grabbed the dry erase marker and we just had people shout out whatever came into their minds as a strength or a weakness for each of us. We left that meeting with such a comprehensive list of where we had gaps in the company and where we had our strengths. No one is good at every single thing. Knowing your weaknesses means that you can hire talent to fulfill the things that you're not the best at. And I would encourage every business owner to do this. It is a great exercise. So as a broker owner, you should be setting aside 10 to 15% of your gross income to put toward marketing. When I talk about marketing, a lot of people think that I'm just talking about lead generation or I'm just talking about how to get more clients and get more loans, but really I'm referring to everything that goes into your business. That includes recruiting and hiring staff. It includes lead generation, and it also includes your tech stack. So your technology solutions are just as important to your business as the support staff that helps you close your loans and the leads that come in to fill your pipeline. Don't forget too that time is very important. So one of the biggest lessons that I learned in 2020 was how best to budget my time. And what I did to help with that is I hired recruiting firms to assist me in the recruiting and hiring process. Although they do come at a premium, you don't pay them unless you find the right person. And having 4 or 5 different recruiting firms mining LinkedIn for candidates, out on all the job boards, and really out in the marketplace looking for top talent is a much, much better way to quickly find support staff than to have me spending my hours doing the very same thing. Also, when it comes to your tech stack, having the right CRM, having your database, consistently managed and nurtured, having the right LOS is of critical importance to you. Making sure that you're really evaluating your business when you're talking about setting these huge volume goals and you're talking about scaling your business. Be sure that you're also creating the right infrastructure to support it. It's not just about the people, it's about everything else that supports your business that has to help you close those loans. So if you've got a clunky LOS, now is the time to revisit that before you've got 200 loans in your pipeline and you're still trying to clunk through an old and antiquated system that just doesn't work. So these are the times when you need to sit back, get with your team, talk about what's working and what's not working in your systems, in your processes, in your tech stack. Consider leveraging some of our AIME vendor partners to help with lead generation, to help with technology solutions. And when you're budgeting, be sure not just to include the recruiting and the hiring, but also the technology solutions and even closing gifts. Some suggestions I have on closing gifts are do some of the things that Tom Mancuso, one of our AIME members, has done. Use your partner points if you use UWM to order cutting boards as a gift for your clients. I mean, there are so many different ways to mitigate your costs as a broker owner and still achieve your goals of getting things in front of your clients and providing good service and doing all kinds of neat little extras for your database without necessarily seeing a fixed cost to your bottom line. Now let's talk a little bit about independent loan officers. You probably don't have the same support staff or the same expenses that a broker owner has. Most likely you have probably a loan officer assistant or two, and you might have a processor. So your reserves are probably going to need to be a little bit less. I would highly recommend, though, as an independent loan officer, that you have 6 months of reserves set aside for yourself. 6 months for an individual should be enough in reserves to get you through just about any market fluctuation or any downturn that we see. In a similar way to what I discussed as a broker owner, you should also look at your strengths and weaknesses. Now, you may not have a huge team that you can pull into a conference room, but I would highly encourage you to make your strengths and weaknesses list. Grab an old-fashioned notepad and grab a pen and start to really look within yourself and figure out, what are you great at? What are you not so great at? Again, no one is good at every single thing. So for you, it might be your weakest attribute could be follow-up. It could be gathering documents. It could be marketing. So whatever it is, plan to spend 20 to 25% of your gross income on an assistant to fill those gaps. In time, targeting 90 to 120 days, you should see that investment create a return of 2 to 1. And then in about 180 days, you should see that investment get to somewhere between 3 to 5 to 1. And lastly, for those newer loan officers who haven't yet established themselves, my advice to you is this: start building your database. Every person that you encounter is a potential referral source. Everyone you meet should know what you do for a living. Don't keep it a secret. We joke about this, but some of our newer inside sales folks, we actually had t-shirts made and it says, "Ask me about mortgage loans." Tell everybody what you do for a living. Don't keep it a secret, and always ask for referrals. And last but not least, independent mortgage brokers are the most experienced, heavily regulated, well-trained people in our industry with the most options for our consumers. So get out there, talk to as many customers as you can, and remember that brokers are better.